Today I have a bit different video for you because I'm going to show you over 10 tier 8 premium tanks that World of Tanks Wargaming has not yet released to the game. Some tanks what you may already have seen on some other servers, some tanks what you may have seen on the battlefield, some tanks what you most likely have never seen before, and some tanks which are straight out nuts, guys, like the BZ-176. Like, you have to see this. So this BZ is just absolutely bonkers, guys. Actually, absolutely bonkers. And a couple of weird surprises that actually surprised me. And also, I am going to do a different video about unreleased tier 9 premium tanks and reward vehicles, and a tier 10 one as well. So stay tuned for that, hitting the subscribe button and bell notification so you do not miss that, because I really do not want to put all of them into one video, because I don't want to make it like 1 hour long episode, maybe like 2 30-minute episodes, something like that. Depends how long this one will take. And this is one of the videos I'm actually preparing for you right now before my vacation to Africa. So while you're watching this, most likely I am in Africa already, in Africa and Tanzania. I mentioned it in my previous video. So if something big major has happened in World of Tanks, I don't know, like black market out of nowhere or auction out of nowhere, and I'm not covering it, well, this is the reason. I am simply not at home. But what I'm able to show you over here is actually a couple very interesting tanks. Now, over here you can see the full list of vehicles, 12 tanks, all are tier 8 premium tanks, according to the in-game tooltips, in-game what they say about the vehicle, basically. And first off, let's start with Udarniy and JagdTiger Prototype. Well, those tanks are already available on the Asian server, but not publicly available anywhere else. I have actually made videos about those tanks as well. If you're interested, checking out this absolutely redonkulous V-shaped hull, what is able to side scrape even with its V-shape, and the only weak spot is that blade right over there, and the rest basically is full red. Of course, the commander hatch as well. But as I said, I made an episode about this tank already, and also about the JagdTiger Prototype, which is 490 alpha damage tier 8 JagdTiger. Basically, JagdTiger copy-based, armoring is the same, hull, everything is the same, just less mobility or less mobile, and the gun, of course, is not as good as well. But 490 alpha in tier 8 as a premium tank, you know, on a premium tank, is always a juicy banger, right? So, those are the first 2 vehicles, what they have not publicly released, so we can delete those right over here, but I just quickly wanted to mention it. But the next one is completely brand new, and it is not available in the game. There are some people who have seen this tank on the battlefield. I have received some replays. Thank you very much for sending those in. I am not the lucky one who has seen this tank in action, but this is the first higher tier American double barrel tank. It is a tier 8 American heavy tank. I know that there is the lower tier MTLS as well in tier 2, 3, something like that. Tier 4? Guys, help me out over here. I don't remember exactly, but this is the first higher tier one, of course. Now, what does this tank have to offer besides having the double-barreled gun? Of course, as you can see, it makes you more credits. At least currently in the game, it has the more credit stack, so it is a premium tank, as all the tanks in today's video. 280 alpha damage definitely is quite a bit lower than the 780 has. 390 penetration, standard penetration is quite poor. 200 only 200 millimeters of penetration, so this is very weird for this gun. 8.15 second reload time for the 280 alpha damage on a heavy tank, or 16.3 for the full mag. And if you want to take the double shot, your salvo preparation time is quite fast, actually 2.5 seconds, but your lock time is quite long, 6 seconds. So if you take the shot, if you take the double barrel shot, yes, you're able to deal 560 damage, but your reload time is 6 seconds longer. Basically, it is adding the extra 6 seconds on your reload time before it starts loading its first shell again. It does have -8 degrees of gun depression, and when you are hull down using your gun depression, peeking over reach lines, this tank can actually bounce some things as well. As you can see from this screen, this is the 3D armor model on tanks.gg with the DS54, and versus 200 millimeters of penetration, you can see, or if we load, for example, let's say tier 9 standard penetration, it is still going to bounce quite a lot of shots, especially if you're able to hide your lower plate. Lower plate is an easy penetration in tier 8 battles. So frontally, it can be actually quite survivable as well. Let's go back into the game. Aiming time 2.88 seconds, accuracy is super weird 0.4, so gun handling stats like raw stats in the game not the best, and slightly over 2000 DPM as well. Now survivability, I showed you the armoring already, 1600 hit points, 102 millimeters of frontal armor, but very sloped. As you can see, both lower plate and upper plate are very sloped, so on a flat ground, lower tier tanks can actually struggle quite a bit versus this tank. 305 turret armor is very strong. It has a thick gun mantlet over here, very tiny low profile tank overall, and 127 side armor as well. Mobility wise, 650 horsepower engine, 13 power to weight ratio, and 35 top speed. So definitely not the fastest kid on the block. It is quite slow, moving frontally, not the best power to weight ratio, but 100 rotation speed over 30 stock, which is quite decent. So boosting it with crew skills, with field mods, you can get this thing a bit better if you're interested about that. 380 meters view range as well, so you can actually play this tank without using the coated optics, for example, to get the max view range. So this is DS54 for you, first high-tier American double-barrel tank. Definitely can end up being in the loot boxes as one of the beta vehicles, or next marathon tank, because it ticks all the boxes. It has a special feature for a new nation, like the high-tier double-barrel tank. Definitely something people might be interested in, I would say so. It has 5 crew members as well, by the way, 2 loaders, commander, gunner, driver, and loaders. Next up, we are going to Poland, because over there we can find CS52C. We already have CS52 lists in the game, but this is CS52C, and this is a weird one, ladies and gentlemen, because this in 2022 it has some very uncharacteristical things. It looks quite cool, I have to say. It looks quite slick. It seems to be very bouncy. The turret seems to be bouncy, the hull seems to be bouncy and whatnot. But what is special about this vehicle? Oops, let's go back right over here. You can see it has 250 alpha damage, right? It is a tier 8 premium tank right now, at least this is what they say. 190 millimeters of penetration. 8-second reload time. Like, so far, nothing strikes me, honestly, as being super awesome, right? So it needs to have something special going on, at least, because this DPM is not bad, or sorry, not very good. This accuracy, not very good, but look at the aiming time. I wonder why does it have 2 different aiming times? 2.59 seconds or 3.36 seconds. -7 degrees of gun depression as well. Survivability, do we have anything special over here? 1350 hit points, hull armor 80, but quite slopey, turret 260. So let's actually quickly take a look at the turret as well. And by the way, look how many freaking premium tanks we have in the game. This is absolutely nuts. So this is CS52 compared to the 190 millimeters of armoring, and yeah, this tank does not bounce anything. Basically, this is all you need to see over here. This tank simply does not bounce anything, so let's go back into the game. What is special about this tank is the mobility department, ladies and gentlemen. 710 horsepower engine, or 1150 in the turbine mode, in the turbo mode. So this basically gets the same treatment as CS63 gets in the tier 10. And this actually changes this vehicle quite a bit, because it is a tier 8 medium tank, guys, with the potential 70 km/h top speed. So it can be very, very situational. Like CS63 right now is actually used a lot in the onslaught mode. It is used quite a lot in the clan wars as well, just for these specific scenarios to take some positions very fast, very early, and this seems to have the same treatment. Because the standard power to weight ratio is 17, but if you switch to the turbo mode, it has 28.77 power to weight ratio, 70 top speed, 25 moving backwards, so quite a nutty one. 2.5 seconds time it takes to switch between modes as well for you. It has different moving camos, different concealments over here, 380 view range as well. So CS52C. Quite an interesting one besides the firepower. The firepower is very lackluster. Let's actually go to the comparison tool and let's take a look how much premium penetration it has. So it has AP and heat has 2... Oh my god, this is going to be a vehicle which gets spammed, or which is going to spam many premium rounds. So just mark my words. To get 100 extra millimeters of penetration, I think people are definitely going to use it. So this is a Polish CS52C. Kind of a special one, right? At first it didn't look like that, but... it is. Next up, let's travel to Germany, and over there we can find... wait a minute, Des. I feel like I have seen this tank before. I feel like we already have this tank in the game. Don't you think so? The Tier 7 light tank, the Aufkl Panther, or however I have to pronounce that name. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. This is the Aufkl 5, but in the game we already have... Where is it? This one. Right over here. Yeah, they look almost identical, don't they? But the Tier 8 one, maybe if I'm not mistaken, looks a bit beefier, a bit bigger, or maybe identical. Yeah, but the firepower, as you can see, has been tuned up a bit. They did slide up the slider on the firepower. 165 alpha match is still very low. 221 penetration, definitely 4.7 second reload time, so a lot of rounds per minute, minus 10 degrees of gun depression. Very good gun handling, 1.44 seconds. So it is a fast firing, massive, big German light tank. Very accurate as well, over 2000 DPM on a light tank. This seems to be like an interesting tank I would like to test out, and definitely, guys, let's talk about the ramming. You can ram some other Tier 8 light tanks with it, so this is the Tier 8 version of the Aufkl Panther light tank, right? Armoring, well, you know, it is a light tank, it doesn't have any, it is a massive target as well. Now, 1200 horsepower engine, 28.75 power to weight ratio, 60 top speed, 22 moving backwards, 45.89 power, not power to weight, sorry, the traverse speed as well. So this is quite a meme rammer with this gun handling as well. You can pimp it up quite a bit, and I definitely see them releasing this tank one way or another, because so many people actually like the Panzer 4.5, Panzer 5.4 was that, the Tier 5, which looks super similar to Tier 7 as well, and now this, you know, 400 meters view range in Tier 8, not the highest, but still very good for a light tank, of course. This is Tier 8 Aufkl Panzer 5. Next up, where are we going to travel next, ladies and gentlemen? Now, I'm going to show you a couple tanks which I have not seen on the battlefield yet, but some of you have. First up, WZ1132. At first I thought that 2 means double barrel, but no. This is like 113 in Tier 8, ladies and gentlemen. Just, you know, of course, it has been balanced for Tier 8. Firepower-wise, at least 320 alpha damage, 215 penetration, 9.59 second reload time, minus 4 degrees of gun depression. Aiming time 2.3 seconds, quite decent, 0.35 dispersion, 2000 DPM. Survivability, 1550 hit points, 121, 2070. So excellent side scraper. It doesn't have the pikey nose, so you can actually use some side scraping action potentially. Turret seems to be slopey with quite a big commander hatches though. 240, 187, 65. Let's switch the screen once again and let's try to look for the VZ from this massive list of premium tanks. Here it is, armor model. Versus 215 millimeters of penetration, and yes, you can see lower plate is the penetration, but upper plate is not the penetration. Let's talk about the side scraping. It can do side scraping, but not too much. So on the angle like that, it's very snazzy actually. And is the gun depression really 4 degrees all around? It is. Doesn't get extra. Wait, what? Even less in the rear. -2 in the rear, guys. This is nuts. This is such a bad... Oh my god, I do not want to play this tank. Like, -5 degrees is already quite painful to play on nowadays World of Tanks maps. And you have -4. Definitely this tank is not going to be for me, especially for the gun depression. I can already see myself, being very angry at this vehicle, not being able to shoot anything. And the reverse side scraping is not the best either. There is always that part you're going to reveal, and if you do more angling, you are going to reveal this side. Yeah, okay, so... It looks like under angle like this, it is going to be a painful side scraper actually. Versus 265 penetration, still very strong side scraper. You can do that. Yeah, I guess this is going to be the only trick this tank is going to have, side scraping under angle like that basically. But it is so easy to over angle it. You do it slightly and boom, you get wrecked just like that. Okay, so VZ1132, how is the mobility? 50 top speed. This is very fast actually. 16.35 for a heavy tank is very good. 40 tons heavy, 50 top speed. Okay, now we're talking quickly. Let me see. Stabilization, gun stabilization is not the worst either. 0.18 when moving, 0.18 on tank traverse. So yeah, the gun handling seems to be nice, so very fast, good gun handling, but this -4 degrees of gun depression is such a boner killer for me. It is not even funny. And this is how it looks like in the game as well. For you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what they're going to do with that. If this is going to be a marathon tank, I guess I will grind it out, but no thank you. If it is going to be, too many escapes. If it is going to be a loot box tank, it is not going to be any kind of bait for me, so maybe just a simple release method in the premium store, something like that. This -4 is just too much for me. Next up, I have to be honest with you guys. I have to be very honest with you. BZ176. This is a tank I'm actually looking forward to. I cannot hide. I want to test it out. Maybe I'm looking it forward to in a way how... Let me get it and nobody else. Let me just try to test it out. I don't know if it is good or bad for the game, but I want to test it out. Because, number one, it looks freaking awesome. Of course, the taste is very personal, depends, what your taste is. But for me, in this game, this tank looks freaking awesome. It has bloody rockets behind it. It has the jet boosters. It has the rocket boosters behind. So this is, yes, the rocket booster tank. And you can see from this massive curve this gun has, it is going to hit hard as well. And what I mean by that is, let me show you. 1100 alpha damage, 75 penetration with 1 round, 23, let's say 24 second reload time, -10 degrees of gun depression, 2.88 second aiming time for this alpha caliber, 2.88 second aiming time, what? 0.38 accuracy, what? 2.7k DPM. But, for that you actually need to penetrate stuff, and this is going to be hard. And this is just one of the shell types that this tank can have. The other shell type is configure. This is the other one, the higher penetration, high explosive, 800 alpha damage, 225 millimeters of penetration. So this definitely is going to be a lot more competitive. Penetration, overall DPM of course is lowered a lot, but I would say DPM in reality is going to be more close to this than, this one like almost never sees 2.7k unless you see very lightly armored tanks. And Intuition is is going to be must-have on this tank. To switch the shells as quickly as possible. If you see something easy penetration, of course, you can, guys, you can one-shot most of the freaking tier 8, other tier 8 lightly armored tank destroyers. Rheinmetall, SU, Scorpion, we have so many of those. SH TVP, SH BTK TVP. You can one-shot so many tanks potentially, you know, just need a little tiny bit of high roll. 5% high roll and it is done. Nuts, right? But this gun is not the only unique feature this tank has, because let's talk about the mobility. After that, let's do the armoring. It has 2 different engine power values over here. 600 is what you have always available, and 1500 you have for 10 seconds if you click the jet booster key, jet booster button, and you are going to jump up to 1500 horsepower for 10 seconds. As you can see, 10 seconds, this is the iteration, and you have 4 charges per battle. Once you click it, you cannot unclick it, guys. Normally, your top speed is 30, reverse speed 15, but when you do that for 10 seconds, your top speed is 53 and 1 backwards. If you do that, there is no backing up. You never try to back up because it is never going to happen. And power to weight ratio jumps up to 26.27. So guys, just imagine this tank ramming stuff. This is going to be the rammer's mecca. This is going to be the master rammer, especially in the jet booster mode. You can finish off, guys, just think about one situation. You use the 800 alpha damage shot on a medium tank, and then you simply ram them. Right? You feel me? This is bonkers. I don't know, like this is why I am scared seeing this tank in the game. I don't know what it would do to the overall gameplay balance, to the meta, and whatever, you know, the ugly meta used over here. Let's actually go to thanks.gg and the BZ176. Let's check out this armoring as well, and of course, let's load in some more penetration to see how it actually is. Live and... I'm not even looking, like, I'm not even paying attention that this is HE. Just look at the armor values. What the fuck is this? I'm so afraid this tank will be in the loot boxes, guys. I'm actually afraid this tank will be in the loot boxes. Or is this going to be a marathon tank, next marathon tank, you know? Are they going to do that? Are they going to give this tank out as a marathon vehicle? This is quite crazy. Everything combined, the armor, it's hard to penetrate, it rams, it hits like a freaking truck. What do you think about that? 380 meters view range. And camo, who the hell cares about heavy tank camo? This is BZ176. Next up, we stay in China. WZ1116. And guys, I haven't seen this tank in action myself personally, but I have seen other Super Des players playing with other tanks, and I have checked out their accounts. And this tank, I have seen them playing with this, I have seen the stats, and they perform very, very good in WZ1116 for some reason. So let's try to investigate why. 360 penetration, 360 alpha, 225 penetration. Under 10 second reload time, minus 8 degrees of gun depression. Very good gun depression for a Chinese heavy tank, which just came out from a 4 degrees of gun depression. By the way, BZ has minus 10. Did it have minus 10? It has minus 10. Holy shit. That previous one, the jet booster. 2.68 second aiming time, 0.35 dispersion, 2100 DPM. I wonder why they perform so freaking good in this. Like, this tank had very high average damage, I checked on their accounts. Like, one guy had 3100 average damage. One guy had 2.7, 2.8k if I'm not mistaken. Which is not bad, you know, for a tier 8 tank, for a tier 8 premium heavy. 1550 hit points, 120, so good side armor, 300 turret, good turret armor. So yes, turret definitely you can see that it can be bouncy. And if I look at the armor model as well, once again, let's flip the screen. Right over here, armor, live, and this is how it looks like versus 225 millimeters of penetration. You know, nothing like super crazy over here. Still a penetration, can't side scrape because of those blades. Is it reverse side scraper? It kinda is a reverse side scraper though. Kinda is a reverse side scraper. Yeah, a bit of a reverse side scraping I can see. Not too much though, definitely not too much, but if you do the reverse side scraping, do it another angle like that, so you hide your commander hatch, which, you know, hull down it seems to be beastie. Yeah, holy moly, hull down is very beastie. Super beastie hull down. So this is where it shines. Once again, another hull down god, seems like it. But other than that, honestly speaking, not massive alpha damage. Like, besides the BZ-176, we have not seen any massive alpha damages. Besides that, if anything, we have seen lower than usually, especially on heavy tanks. 390 view range is very nice, so easily can play without coated optics. 17 points or 14.78 power to weight ratio, 50 top speed, 15 backwards. Quite piss poor traverse speed. I don't know, like on paper it doesn't seem to be that crazy. Stabilization also, dispersion factors, like it doesn't shine with those either, the hidden stats. I'm looking at it right now. So yeah, this is WZ-1116, guys. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that, because that is it about the Chinese Tier 8 premium tanks. Next up, let's talk about one tank which you already saw at the start of the video, but you didn't. Because this one is not Udarniy, this is Object 259A. This is actually a different vehicle. Udarniy comes with a 390 alpha damage. This one has 420. It has different penetration, reload times, DPM, you can see. 420 alpha, 233 penetration, 14.38 second reload time, minus 6 degrees of gun depression. Gun handling is quite nice for this type of gun, I would say, for this type of caliber. It has the same armoring, exactly identical armoring as Udarniy does, so very freaking annoying. 60 top speed, oh yeah, this was the faster version. It has 60 top speed, guys. 15 power to weight ratio. Slap turbo on it and you are faster than most of the freaking medium tanks. This is what this tank is, guys. This is what this tank is all about, actually. The annoying armor and mobility, and 420 alpha as well in tier 8. But your DPM, this DPM can get you into troubles. Like so many tanks are able to take 2 shots instead of you taking 1. Even if the enemy has 300 alpha damage, the enemy can deal 600 damage to you, while you can do 420, because they simply out-reload you, so you have to be very careful still, right? But seems to be annoying aggro pusher. But the commander hatch luckily is a weak spot, but other than that, it looks identical to the Udarniy. Why the hell do we need 2 tanks which look identical, just different engine and a bit different gun on it? Wargaming logic for you, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, tank which I really do not want to see in the game. This is another Soviet tank. It may not look like anything over here. Besides, it looks like a freaking muscular bulldog or... yeah, I think bulldog. I think this reminds me of bulldog. But guys, what is so nuts about this tank is this side armor over here. If you didn't see that already, guess how much side armor it has. Just make a guess. How much side armor do you think it has if you do not know anything about this tank? Some of you do, because I have covered this tank like long time ago when it first when they released first details. Well, if you guessed 120, too little. 140, too little. Because this tank actually has 160 millimeters of side armor. 160 in the front, 120 on in the rear. 120 in the ass, guys. 390 alpha, 203 penetration, piss-poor penetration, 14 second reload time. So same reload time as the Object 259A, but 30 less alpha. Even less DPM, minus 6 degrees of contemplation, gun handling, quite poor. But survivability, 1,650 hit points, which is already more than on average in tier 8 on heavy tanks. 160, 160, 120, 250, 160, 160. You want to see the armor model? Okay, let me show you the armor model as well. This is K2. Live. What do you say about that? What do you say about that? There is one good thing about this though. Look at the roof. Roof is overmatchable. 30 millimeters of armoring. It has the, you know, the old or the IS-3's problem. Very weak roof. Roof is overmatchable. But the side, reverse side scraping, you have to watch out with that. Simply do regular side scraping and you're golden. Oh my god. Tier 8s, tier 7s will love this tank. Like, do you imagine that tier 6 tanks are going to see this tank, right? Tier 6 tanks. They cannot even penetrate the freaking flat side armor with this. They cannot penetrate the ass, even under angle like that. They can do this though. You know, they can penetrate that actually. So if you see the ass, just shoot right over there. Please do. Because you need to penetrate that. This is nuts, guys. This is actually nuts. So this is K2. Another tank what I do not want to see in the game because how many freaking Soviet premium heavy tanks do we have already? Like 69, 70, 80? How many more do we need? 0. Minus 10 is actually what we need. K2. Upcoming premium heavy tank. M47 Improved. Let's travel back to America because M47 Improved is from America. This is a tier 8 assault medium tank. And this one I see being quite a popular one. Because it's quite thick, guys. 320 alpha, 230 penetration, so not bad standard penetration, really. Honestly, not a bad standard penetration. 10 second reload time just to balance up the armor a bit, I guess. Minus 10 degrees of gun depression. 2.88 second aiming time, 0.42 accuracy. So gun handling is actually quite garbage, I have to say. Gun handling is definitely not going to be the forte of this vehicle, but you can see how much spaced armor it has. It is made out of spaced armor. It has spaced armor on the side. It has spaced armor on the turret. It has spaced armor over there. So guys, guess what is not going to do much damage to it? HE heat as well is going to be it's going to struggle very much versus this. Once again, let's go right over here and let's look for the M47 Improved, Patton Improved. And here it is. Very good stabilization, by the way. Toes are very good, you know, the bloom by default. Yes, it has long aiming time, accuracy, but the bloom... Okay, I said gun handling is bad, but looking at that, this is actually good work still, because those do not matter many times that much as those numbers do. And those numbers are very excellent, let me tell you that. It's only spaced armor, guys. This tank is only, like, blue is spaced, right? So let's see. This is, this you need 200 millimeters for the massive lower. This has very big lower plate, yes. It has 250 right over here. This is what you need. Commander hatch is a weak spot. Not the best size scraper over here. Hull down. Hull down, you have to be careful because it has quite a long lower plate, quite a big lower plate, but hull down, like if only your turret is showing, minus 10 degrees of gun depression. Turret ring, not the weakest weak spot, but still a weak spot. Does it have, what does it have? Heat? Look at that. Heat is going through that. Is heat going through this as well? 300. 50 chance. How much heat? 300 penetration. 50-50 basically. Lower plate is a penetration. Okay, so that spaced armor actually does not do that much as on like Super Gong, for example, right? Or am I missing something? Why is that heat so easily going through? Because it has that much penetration. AG, well, AG is not going to do anything, right? AG is not going to do anything, but this is M47 Improved, Patton Improved. I can see this tank being quite popular, definitely, and one tank that could end up in the loot boxes as well, simply because Patton in the game, very popular, especially in the States, right? And this is where they could sell those a lot. Although, to put like too many new tier 8 tanks into the loot boxes, like would that make sense? Does that fit over there? It does also tick boxes for the marathon tank. It also does that though, I have to be honest. Mobility, not the greatest top speed, so turbo needed for some battles, I would say, so not for all the maps. Definitely secondary loadout, I would use turbo loadout, because power to weight ratio is quite decent actually. 390 view range, so easily without go-to optics as well. DPM is on the lower side, definitely. Turret 330, but we saw that the turret is not like that crazy. Frontally it is. Frontally it is quite good, but the turret ring is a weak spot. It also has the commander hatch. That is penetrable. Yes. Blocked a little bit by the spaced armor, but that spaced armor doesn't give it that much extra, like this part right here. So this is M47 Improved, Patton Improved. What do you think about that? Loot box, marathon, standard sale, where you see this vehicle, or auction. And finally, this is the final vehicle I'm going to feature in today's video. This is D44 Lightweight. Now, I first heard about this tank actually over a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago, something like that. And I have never heard anything since. This is D44, basically it looks like a D44, you know, turret, D44, gun seems to be like, everything seems to be D44, but it is a lightweight. This is a light tank actually, a versatile light tank as they say, and right now it says credits, makes more credits as well, so a premium tank, but it's a weird one. 180 alpha damage, 182 penetration, 4.6 second reload time. So DPM is quite nice. -5 degrees of gun depression, definitely a poor. Decent aiming time, gun handling. You know, it is light tank, you know, for light tank, for this type of light tank, I would say this is okay. Gun handling on paper at least, how it behaves, how are the soft stats, you know. We have to test how the overall vehicle feels like for that, but DPM not bad. 1100 hit points, that can be one-shotted by BZ-176. Not too much armor, so this is a light tank, can be penetrated easily, but look at the top speed, guys. 850 horsepower engine, 27.1 power to weight ratio, and 68 kilometers per hour top speed. Or 73 with turbo, or 76 with Bond turbo, and 24 reverse speed. Good, very good reverse speed. Over here, 16.87% camo, 390 meter view range. So not the best view range, like the tier 8 Aufkl sponsor had 400, for example, but this one 390. Because I have not heard anything else about this vehicle, I honestly have no clue what they're going to do with that. Maybe they have simply forgotten about this tank. I do not know if super testers are testing it out. But I don't think we're missing this tank. I honestly do not think I would be super hyped over this tank. I would definitely play it because I love light tanks. I love to play with light tanks. Light tanks have very big carry potential, especially, you know, towards the late game. Late game light tanks are the most dangerous tanks in the game, I would say so, on most of the maps. But, like, I don't know, like, the game is not missing out much if this tank, you know, if they simply forget about that. Yeah, D44, lightweight, but nothing like super exciting, besides the top speed, I guess. Top speed is quite nice. Top speed is quite nice indeed. And those are the 10 plus premium tanks featured in today's video, which are not in the game yet. The most interesting ones over here to point out. DS54 for the double barrel, CS52 for the unique turbine engine feature in Tier 8, and of course, this thing will be a freaking animal. And as I said, I am not sure I want to see this type of animal in the game. I don't know, I'm afraid to see what it does. Like the armoring, you saw the armoring yourself as well. And now the turbo feature. Like outside of that, if you're out of your boosters, if you're out of your jet booster feature, you only have 30 top speed, 50 moving backwards. Then it is not going to be like super mobile. It is so easily outplayable. But the gun, super meme, mobility, extreme meme, ramming, armoring, hyper meme. This tank is a freaking meme. I think predicting it being a loot box vehicle, because they're destined to take 3 tanks as well, could be a marathon tank as well at the same time, right? Guys, what do you think about that? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Those were the unreleased Tier 8 tanks. I'm also going to make a video about unreleased Tier 9 premium tanks, Tier 9 potential reward vehicles, and also unreleased Tier 10 tanks like Leon. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for that. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. Thank you so much for tuning in. I keep enjoying my vacation. Do not burn the world of tanks down while I am away. Thank you so much. Love you all, guys. You are beautiful. Stay awesome. Stay sexy, take care, and bye.